MicroGDS version 9 introduces a new type of object, an assembly object. An assembly object is a collection of other objects that are bound together and manipulated as a group. For example, this table and the 4 chair objects represent a dining room suite. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build an assembly object from those separate components and then edit the assembly object. I'll then show you how to place and transform it. And finally, dissolve the assembly object into separate objects once again. Let's first of all look at how to create an assembly object from this table and chairs. In object mode, I can select the object, starting a fence from here and finishing here. And as you can see, I have 5 objects selected, the 4 chairs and the table. Here on the object toolbar, I have the command Object Assembly New from selection, or I could select the command from the object menu up here. In the familiar Object New dialog, I can select from the Naming Assistant file or type a new assembly name here. I'm going to select an object name from this list, and with an inside snap, place the assembly object origin here. Notice the background color has changed around the extent of the selected objects. This tells me that I've tunneled into an assembly object, and means I can edit the objects in the assembly. Double-clicking outside of the assembly extent brings me out of the assembly, like so. Notice when I move the assembly object, all the objects inside move with it. And as with any object, I can press Enter to scale, or transform it, and even delete it. I'll undo that. Let's copy the 2 chairs here to seat 6 around this table. And to do that, I need to edit the assembly object. When I double-click an assembly object, it opens ready for editing. Now let's copy these chairs and place them here. And now move all 4 chairs up, like so. And you'll notice in this case, I'm using instanced objects. You can have a mixture of plain and instanced objects in an assembly object. And you can have instanced assemblies and nest assemblies by placing an assembly object inside an assembly. Okay, I've copied the chairs in the dining suite. Now let's save the library file and place the dining assembly object on the floor plan. I'm going to use the command Object Insert. And in the list, I can select the assembly object. And I'm going to click the Insert button as I want a copy of the suite and not an instance. This is so that I can edit the contents of the assembly independently from the library file. And I need to press Enter to rotate the assembly by 90 degrees and place the furniture here. In this particular case, I want to remove these chairs at the back of the table and move the whole assembly to this wall. Let's double click onto the assembly to open it. Now that I've tunneled in, I can simply select and delete the 2 chairs. And to come out, I double click outside the assembly extent. And now all I need to do is move the whole arrangement to the window. Over here in the plan, I have an assembly consisting of a dining room table and chairs, plus a sideboard, lamp and plant assembly nested inside. I have no further use for the whole assembly. I would like to edit the assemblies separately. The command Assembly Dissolve will break apart the assembly. And I can freely move the sideboard away from the dining room suite. And that concludes this short video on assembly objects. Please see the MicroGDS help for further information.